This is the example. Check out my interview on Amarudontv. It is what it is.
You gotta look over your shoulder, cause remember they don't teach that shit in school today. Just remember what I told ya. Today.
I'm a mister today.
You're Mr. Mr. Example.
I'm sorry, I can't advertise.
I've put that placement in the video.
Send me some shit.
So we'll just talk on camera, like, about, when you went to ADT College.
ADT College in Wandsworth, yeah, it's now Ashcroft Technology College. It was a good school.
And the hours was it 8:30 to 4:45?
Yeah, it was mad because I applied for like 3 or 4 schools. I applied for Elliot School, which is like Roehampton, Putney.
Was it Elliot a bit rough?
Elliot was a bit naughty as well. I mean, it's like compared to some schools in London, they're all right, but there was naughty people in both the schools. But Elliot, I think like the XX went there. You know the band, the XX, they went there. There's a couple of other people, like Hot Chip went to Elliot, so it's like they've done quite well, like musically. It's quite interesting. And I don't know anyone. Remember Ultimate Chaos?
Yes, Hayden, Jay.
Yeah, one of them went to ADT.
It was Jay, isn't it?
Yeah, I think Jay went to ADT. So that was the only other musical person who went to my school.
Yeah, and then now obviously everyone's going to be recounting that you went there as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a good. The good thing with that school, it was like, I remember it was in Wandsworth, and it was like they had uniforms.
The blue one, isn't it?
The blue uniforms, but I liked it because it was kind of a new thing at the time. It was kind of an experiment. And they kind of wanted to take kids from every background in the surrounding areas and sort of kind of throw them in all together, rather than having one rather than having like a private school.
Like a manual private.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there were some schools around the area which are like that, and it was good because I grew up in Fulham and I lived in a house. But my mum always, like when I was a kid, my mum always said to me, "I want you to go to a school where there's all different walks of life, and I don't want you to go to a school there's all white kids or all Asian kids. I want a good school where it's all a big mix." And I think that's one of the best things that could have happened to me, because not only does, I think at a young age it just teaches you to understand and appreciate all other cultures, and that's where I think you learn the most about who you are through them school years, but it also kind of shaped my musical taste, because like early 90s dominant culture at school in terms of the way other people dressed or spoke or listened to music, it was black culture. So I kind of like immersed myself in that at school to kind of fit in, if you like, because I couldn't play football, I couldn't play basketball. So I started spitting in the hope that
you could get included.
Exactly, it comes to inclusion. But it was a good mix at the school, and it was like people from Battersea and Brixton and Clapham and Fulham and Putney and Hammersmith from Shepherd's Bush. And the schools asked me to come back. I need to go back soon, because I think if there's kids and they kind of don't know what to do, and like are a bit disillusioned, or having a bit of trouble back home. A lot of kids nowadays, I think, really identify with either musicians or athletes, footballers. Because I think for a lot of kids growing up in rough estates in London, there ain't that many role models. Yeah. And I think some of the only people they might have to look up to are like MCs. Or sportsmen, I think the good thing is that I'm always been myself. I've never claimed in any of my songs to be something I'm not. I don't think at any point I've ever tried to claim to be gangster or tried to claim to be ghetto or anything. I've only ever talked about what I've seen. And I think when some MCs come out, especially if you're like 15, 16, you kind of feel like you have to portray a certain image and be controversial in order to be accepted. Even when I signed to Mike Skinner's label in 2005, The Beats. Obviously Pro was on the label as well. Like, having grown up in London, I didn't have a tough as life as a lot of other MCs. But anyone who grows up in London sees things and experiences things, whether it's sort of, you see gangs, or you see muggings, or you see stabbings, or whatever. But for me, I never thought that was my place to talk about that. Or I didn't even think it was my story. Yeah. And I mean, like, I could talk about things like that, because everyone's seen those things with him, but it's not my place to talk about that. And I thought, everyone else is doing that, and people are always going to be like, "Oh, he's the white guy from Fulham with long hair. Why is he chatting about that?" But I think it kind of makes sense now. Anyway, it's like I've kind of found my niche, and like for me, it's like I just talk openly about all my experiences, whether it's like girls, relationships, partying, drugs, all my inner demons, temptation. All of that comes out of my song. So it's kind of like wearing your heart on your sleeve. What you see is what you get. I kind of feel like I'm on my third album now, and this is the real me. It's like when I was doing, when I was doing hip hop or rap, whatever. It's like that was the only thing I knew. Whereas then after that I started experimenting more with dance music and singing, and it actually felt more natural to me. There's a lot of people, I don't want to say haters, there's a lot of fans out there who loved my first album and are like, what are you doing now? You've sold out, you know, you've watered down your music, you've conformed. But I think I've actually done the opposite.